Only staff only. Mercer?
Hello, Mr. Miller. Right on time.
Like that, it says on this on his sandwich. It's the sandwich hands off.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Yes, he turns the sandwich hands off.
I don't know why you want to talk to me, but
Punctual.
I've been told I have to accommodate you. I do hope you have something interesting to ask. This is Miss Allison Whitworth. I'll be translating for you if you have any questions for her.
Yeah, it doesn't
We,
need to run anything.
just get on with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happens in this country with the whole stuff around Brexit. Pretty much the same thing. See, Carl's answering machine.
You want to ask me about Carla's answer machine?
Yep.
I have no idea what you're... That means nothing to me.
Sure it does.
Oh, what do you need to know?
She fixed Carl's answering machine. Does she know what's on it?
Sounds ominous. Has Carla done something wrong? From the night it happened?
Yep.
Right, that is something. Listen, between you and me, Allie's one of the good guys. Try not to involve her in something... something bad. Fine. I'll ask, but don't push it. What do you want me to say?
Did Carl Bowman say what was on the answer machine?
Nice and simple.
Yeah. Well. Oh, I see. She's deaf.
She says no. Just that. She's telling the truth. Obviously, she didn't hear it, either.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, no, she says it was definitely broken, so there was nothing to hear. No, she would have said. Are you trying to find out what the answer machine said or something?
Oh, if she was telling
No.
the truth.
And is she? A little backhanded, if I'm honest. I'm not sure I approve of your technique. Shall we move on?
Alright. What was Charles Bowman's role in all
What's
this?
Bowman's role in all of this? Or what's Bowman like as a person? That's what you really want to ask, right? Well, I'm not going to get into details, but he's basically the commander-in-chief. If it wasn't for him, none of this would be happening. All of the software, all of the Union Ag promotion, it all starts here. Charles Bowman created all of it.
I'm sure he did. Thought Mo Carson started with him. His name's in the title.
Well, yeah, sure, but I don't want to talk about that. After, after... Well, he died in the explosion. I'm sure you know all of this. But Bowman was the one who really held it all together. His company's grown exponentially since he took over, and we're all grateful.
You like it well?
Well, enough not to want to tarnish his memory, Mr. Miller. Next question.
Do you like the way the company's run now?
I do. I'm basically second in command now, so I have a lot of responsibilities. The company has a more singular set of goals now, and I'm happy to be a part of that. About the company? Sure. I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't, would I?
How do you say yours and Charles Bowman's views line up?
Well, in short, I think, hang on. What do you already know? You haven't spoken to Charles Bowman yet, am I right?
Not yet, but we'll after this meeting.
Jesus. You're trying to get me to say something that'll get you a better answer in your next meeting, aren't you? I should have known. Very good, Mr. Miller. Very good. I'm not biting, though.
Bollocks. Just trying to ask interesting questions for my book, Mr. Crow.
Yeah, sure. And I'm just sat here giving you ammunition. I'm not even gonna entertain that one.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's carry on with something else, shall we? Try to ask relevant questions, please.
See, that's why you have to search for evidence before these interviews, so then you can actually have something to use. Let's talk about change.
I'm not sure if that's a question or...
Said people were scared. What of?
People are scared of things they don't understand. That's all.
Explain.
I think the key thing to take from this is that if you want to make the country better, then you can't be frightened to offend a few minorities.
What?
It's the best way I can put it.
What might offend them?
What doesn't offend them?
Yeah, it sounds like a Daily Mail read to me.
The most common thing I hear is that people are going to be kicked out of the country. Now, I can't help that from happening, so I try to avoid letting it affect my work. But I hear it over and over, like no one wants to admit the border control problem. Let me put it like this. You leave your window open in your house one summer's day and a whole bunch of flies come in. You try to remove them, but the flies are coming in faster than you can get them out. Do you want to keep trying to catch the flies, Mr. Miller? Or do you perhaps want to think about shutting the window?
These are people we're talking about, not fucking insects. That definition is more than worrying, Mr. Crow. Yeah, exactly.
I shouldn't have expected you to understand.
These people are not...
Mr. Miller.
These are not pests we're talking about. Dickhead. That was really...
It's a piece of software. We call it Digital Shadow Casting. DSC for short. Silhouette is its working title. Sorry, I know not everybody talks nerd, but do you understand technology, or you want me to elaborate a little?
English would be great.
Sure. It installs a background OS that copies any and all information used on a computer.
Fuck
After
off.
a certain amount of data is gathered, or after a certain time, the data is packaged and sent to the Silhouette server in the basement, where we collate and serialize the data however we'd like. We have an algorithm that can highlight pertinent tag matches, commerce, economics, political values, home living, etc. We sort it all and then macroanalyze the nation's preferences. It's pretty amazing, really, and we're the first company to make use of the tech.
Oh no, sounds bloody authoritarian to me. Are you allowed to be telling me this?
What did you think we did here? I mean, really, it's all written in black and white. The Union Act, Mr. Miller. The country is about to vote it in.
Union Act is about immigration, isn't it?
Well, yeah, part of it, sure.
I don't understand. What makes an immigrant illegal?
You'd have to read the Union Act for yourself. I'm not a lawyer or a politician, Mr. Miller. It's not something
I'm a bit near your shower, so you look. Yeah, that's fine. Right, I'll stop the interview for a second, just get the stream ready. Right. Do you agree with what you do? I personally wouldn't.
It's all legal. The Union Act is a contract. If people want it, they vote for it. Other than that, I just do my job and try to keep my head down.
Just because something's legal doesn't mean it's not immoral. I mean, it was legal at one point to castrate gay people, but that's I don't know.
I don't know what you want me to say.
So you're right. It's not your place. Oh,
Thanks for understanding.
So
Honestly,
you can't do much unless you get evidence to say and scream at the person you're lying.
You know, if they took the time to read between the lines of the Union Act, then they'd understand what's on the line. Selective attention, I think that's what they call it, right? They hear what they want to hear. But hey ho, I just keep doing my job.
Silhouette's disturbing. See the explosion. Can you tell me about the explosion?
About the explosion? Well, pretty much what everyone else knows about it. I don't really know what you want me to say. You must know everything that I do.
What do you do? What happened?
I was having a smoke in the courtyard. Luckily, I wasn't close enough to the blast, but I saw the whole thing.
Okay, where was Alison Withwood?
Probably in her office.
Could you ask, please?
Room 105. Anything else, Mr. Miller?
What happened here the day after the attack?
Well, nothing. We weren't allowed back into the premises for over a week. Even then, only a handful of us were here to make sure things carried on running. The police were still here, and a detective was snooping around. I couldn't do anything without someone watching over me, or telling me to log what I was doing. Whatever they found, they didn't share it with me. I read it in the paper like everyone else.
What do you think caused the explosion?
Some kind of bomb, I guess. On the gas lines. At least that's what the news said. We have a report of the official findings downstairs somewhere.
Does Alison know?
Don't you believe me?
Just ask, please. Was that typing or? I don't know sign language, so it could be completely misinterpreting.
Basically the gas line.
Alright. She said far more than that, Mr. Crow.
She says he wrote some kind of code that overheated the servers, she thinks. He was a talented coder, much as I hate to admit it. He found out that the servers were close to a gas line that came from an external propane store and, well, you know the rest.
So he wrote code to overload the servers so that they got so hot it explodes. That sounds a bit.
Well, anything's possible, I guess. He was a better coder than me. I've been looking into it myself since it happened. Purely out of curiosity. All he had to do was get it to overheat. It's actually not that hard, so yeah, I think he could have done it.
Well, the air conditioning must have been turned off then.
I don't know. I'd have to replicate it to know. And obviously that's not something anyone's interested in trying. I think you'd agree.
I suppose it makes sense.
Well, I'm not here to argue with the official findings. If you knew Alex at all, I'm sure you'd feel differently. If you don't have anything else to ask Ellie, shall we move on?
Excuse me, Mr. Crow. I need to have a word with you.
Can it wait, Dan? I'm in the middle of something here.
I'm aware of that. That's what I want to talk to you about.
Right.
The hell is he wanting to talk to him about?
Why are you here?
I can't hear a thing from here. Huh? Pay on one. Pay on one. What does that mean? Pay on. That must be a password. Pay on one.
Right. It's come to my attention that you may have been collecting sensitive information in that briefcase of yours. I'm
No, I
gonna need
haven't.
you to hand them over, please. I'm gonna
Oh.
pass them along to Charles Bowman, and when or if you have your meeting, he can decide what he wants to do with them.
Steve, please take Mr. Miller's belongings over to Mr. Bowman's office.
How about you go fuck yourself?
Sorry about this.
God damn it.
And we'll also need that dossier of yours.
Yeah. What do you think this is?
Right. Well, Mr. Miller, it seems as though this meeting is over. I'll look forward to hearing what Charles Bowman has to say about what you've been up to. Get him out of my sight.
Right, Mr. Miller. Let's go.